Welcome, everybody, to this interactive workshop. My name is Marion Haag-Schulenburg. I am talking from Berlin in Germany. I welcome you here. I'm very happy that you are joining. Feel free to either have your camera on or off as you wish. Feel free to unmute yourself if you want to say something, but also use the chat if you have questions that you want to have answered. At some point I will have a look into that. So let me tell you what this is all about. This workshop is called Women Find Voices. And it is very intricately linked to my own story. I have been a musician and a singer, doing voice work for a long time and working a lot with children. There was a time in my life when I lived in Palestine doing children's work, having children choirs going on, and my voice started to go away. I started to get very coarse, like lose my voice, and I had no clue what's going on. And it took me quite a while to find out what is going on, and it was a very severe case of herpes on my vocal tract. So that was very, very threatening to me and my existence, as I was working only through my voice. And as those things come into our life, they are a challenge, and I went on a healing path that is, I would say, still going on. And a discovery of my voice, a discovery of voices in general, a discovery of women's voices. And I'm doing this workshop in the context of the World Unity Week, and the intention is that it may empower you all who are here, who might be watching this later on. I'm an affiliate sister of Sacred Female Rising Institute. I'm very grateful to the work of that institute. I've been doing the medicine woman training with Mira Michelle, and it's been really enriching my knowledge and understanding of also my voice work. So it's very much nourished by our work that we've been doing there, very much informed by that work. So saying that I was going on a discovery tour with my own voice was first a healing tour and a very painful one, which I had to admit that I thought I knew about voice and I had been teaching voice, but I had not been aware of many of the blind spots that were there all the while, all along. And I realized when I was in lessons with my healing teacher back then, that it's one thing to know the techniques of a resonant voice, and it's a completely other thing to have the courage to actually use that resonant voice. So my experience would be, I'm in that singing lesson, my voice gets to its really center and core, and it's really great. I go out of that singing lesson, I enter the street in Berlin, I walk through the city, and my voice is back to a tiny version of what I just heard 10 minutes before. So I realized that there is so much more to voice, and the so fascinating thing about voice is that not only do we express ourselves through our voice, but our voice actually expresses us. So we know this from picking up the phone and hearing our mom on the other side, and we immediately know how she's feeling. Right? And we know this from many ways where we sometimes wish we could somehow manipulate our voice so it would sound somehow better. We're in a difficult situation and we notice all is getting very tight in here. So this workshop, of course, is not something that will give you the one and only recipe for how to have a resonant voice, but what it will do, hopefully, is give you an insight in what layers you could be looking at and some tools that you can take away and that you can use for everyday life, for just kind of approaching your voice from a loving angle, from more understanding for why it's doing what it's doing. And like having said that, I want you to know that even if we're sometimes unhappy with the way our voice sounds, it's a good idea to start a friendship with your voice. And it's a good idea to think of voice patterns that we might feel are not helpful, of something that is actually there to protect us. So we have developed certain patterns, and I will go into this a little bit later, that we have adapted in order to have a good time in this world, to survive on the social level. We just have developed what we needed. And so to come from an appreciation for that is a really good starting point if you want to work on getting your voice into a more resonant state, because it's linked. If you feel bad about how your voice is or how your patterns developed, then that bad feeling will immediately feed back into your voice. So it's a real circle, and it goes every way. If you start feeling good about yourself and your voice will start to express that. I think I've made that very clear. So let me see what happens now. I will tell you a little bit what layers I'm going to look at today. So one is more the technical side, which is fascinating and can take a lifetime to cover. But we'll go into a little bit of breathing, knowing how breathing works and how we can start to unloose our breathing. We will talk about resonance. How do we create resonance in our bodies? And then, of course, what do we need in order to embody that power and that authority that we actually are? And that's really the trajectory that I want to pull out there or get out there. Because we see a lot of women in everyday life who are amazing, and somehow when they speak, it seems to not have entered the voice. I think you know what I mean. And I want to really get you a wonderful instrument in expressing that power that you are. And this is how it is linked to Sacred Female Rising, because we are rising women. We are finding to our centers, we are finding to our power. And then we should really have help in how that translates into our voice. Okay, so we start with a short exercise that you're going to do all internally for yourself. So first of all, get yourself into a body position that is comfortable but not collapsed. So you're sitting well, as you would be if you're doing a meditation or if you were just listening relaxed but upright, kind of ready to be active. Okay, let's do that for a moment. Adjust ourselves. Maybe get aware of the body for a moment. You've been listening to my talking and might have had thoughts, so you just check in on your body. Check your breathing. Your heartbeat. And feel if you can detect some tensions in your body right now. We will go into a little imagination right now. So I invite you to close your eyes if you haven't done so already. And get ready to go with me in this emotional place. So you're about to meet a person of authority. Someone that you somehow know is very important for you. They might be able to decide something about you or your career. They are a person that you look up to, possibly, but that can judge you as well. And you might fear this person a little bit. Maybe you have somebody in your life like that, or maybe you had somebody in your life like that. And if you want to make it very intense, you can conjure up this person now towards you. So you're now before having to present an idea in front of that person. And it's an important thing for yourself. It's something that you've really wanted to do, and this person is the person who will either make it possible to go ahead or will say, sorry, I'm not convinced. You would also actually be liked by that person. You would actually like this person to like you. You would like this person to appreciate you, but you're not sure if it's actually already there. You can add to my image if you want, and make it very vivid in yourself. And now, check your breathing. Check tensions in your body. How does your throat or neck area feel like? What has happened to your heartbeat? What might have happened to your body temperature? Just get aware of that shift that might have occurred by having that imaginary person in front of you. And then let go of the image. Shake it out a little bit. Shake your body a little bit. Open your eyes. Get aware of where you are. And feel free again. Open not only your eyes, but your mind, because now is the second scene that you're going into with me. So we're getting ready for another round. It's a completely different situation and scene, because you will now visit a person that you love from the bottom of your heart. And if you want, you can again close your eyes, or you stay with your eyes open, but you try to go into the feeling of how that is when you are about to see a person that you have known forever. You deeply trust that person. You have all that love for that person. And of course, what's important, you know that this person loves you without any condition. You are welcome with all of who you are, all of what you bring. You just let that feeling of that acceptance spread out in your body. That deep love for this person that you might know or might have known. Or might have experienced on a different plane. And now take a moment to do the check-in again. How does your breathing feel like? What has happened to your breathing flow? What has happened to your heart and heartbeat? How did your body react in temperature? What happened to tensions? How does your jaw feel like? What happened to your face? Did it change something in your face, even with your eyes closed? So I invite you, if you want to feedback into our workshop, either by chat or live, in 2 or 3 words. So we have only 1 hour, so it's not a lot. But if you want to feedback the difference that you experienced and the contrast between those two and what it did for your body, that would be great. So I invite you, go, any way you want. As Yule is saying, the second was so calm and smooth. Thank you, Yule. Deep breathing. Yes, thank you very much. If anybody else would like to contribute an impression from those 2 situations. There's not that much feedback now. Maybe this is not... Claire saying tight versus wide and warm. Yes, tight. Exactly. The first one felt tightening, I think. Angespannt means with tension. First one had a fast heartbeat. Yes. The second one was relaxed. Yes. Great. Thank you so much for feedbacking that. That is so helpful for us to know that we're not alone with our experience, actually, because this is what happens to us basically all the time. I would put this thesis out there that most situations when we're out in the world, when we're not meeting that one person we know loves us no matter what, that we are more in the first state than in the second. Just because we are social animals and we need to somehow be liked. We're so reliant on our crowd. We're reliant on other people to be with us and to be included in their circle. So there is a basic tension that is maybe not so extreme as if you really know that one person of authority that is about to decide something important, but a little bit less of that will be present when you're interacting with people normally in your everyday life. And I want to tell you how that impacts your ability to have a resonant voice, because there's a few things that we do then when we do that. So when we are in that situation, one is what I'm doing right now. So I'm speaking, and while I'm speaking, I'm smiling, because I want to signal, I won't do you any harm. I'm so nice. And I will stop having, I will have this very tight region here in my jaw area, because I need to keep that smile, right? Because people will need to know that I'm really so nice. And please like me. I'm so okay. Please like me. You know, what happens then is that whole area that we need to articulate and that is there for first kind of resonance development can simply not move because we keep it. Some of us do something else. Some of us don't smile all the time, but what they do is they keep their lip tight. So they would be talking a little bit like this, right? So I'm maybe not smiling right now, but I keep my the edges of my lips kind of locked. When you recognize it in yourself, you can kind of, while I'm showing you what we are doing, you kind of think of what you are doing yourself. So you can kind of have a realization, this is what I'm doing. Some of us are smiling a lot, some of us are not, but some of us doing, for example, this kind of thing. With the same result, my jaw is still not moving anywhere, right? Some of us, of course, are doing this, so they are kind of speaking, and it sounds all very relaxed, but in the end, our voice is just cut in the back here because we don't provide any breath support. So we kind of keep it tight and condensed, and we hope that the right things will come out. This is what we might do as one strategy. So we keep the sound and the resonance inside the body. And again, this is really protection mechanisms, so don't make it wrong. Just realize, okay, this is possibly what I'm doing when I'm speaking in situations where I'm, let's say, under social observance, when I want to perform well, when I want to play that role that I see myself in. And what else happens? I talked about the breath. So with this, it's not the only way we restrict our breath. Like when we keep the breath inside, then maybe it happens like this. Then the voice goes kind of very like tension, with the tension in the voice. But we might also just go, we might lose our ground in our voice. We might be more like this. So we have a lot of air in our voice. Our voice doesn't get a center anymore, because also we want to transport that we are so nice. And, you know, if you have this kind of a voice, how can you do harm to anyone? You just won't do that, right? So maybe some of us have that kind of a reaction to the stress. Or we might... You know, there's a million strategies, and they are all basically saying, don't be afraid of me. I'm really nice. Please like me. That's basically the message. Okay, so now we're going a little bit into those tools that I promised you. Kind of have to check. Okay, I have half an hour to go. That's cool. So we're doing like 3 layers of how we could relaunch what we're doing. We have the body energy part, where it's about finding our center, finding the courage to actually be resonant. Then there is this more technical aspect that involves what happens to my jaw, my tongue, my breathing, as I call technical, because this is what you would be learning in some kind of voice lessons. And the third one would be, oh, there's something wrong here in my things. Okay, sorry. Body energy, resonance and breath. It's more or less the two things that divide up into three. Never mind. Okay, so we go. The first thing is we want to find the ground for our voices. The ground of our voices is somewhere where we might be humming when we are not communicating to anybody else. So you can do that in muted version just for yourself. So you would go like, uh-huh, mm-hmm. So you're giving that little comment. And you're kind of listening for what pitch that actually is. Kind of experiment with that for a moment. Uh-huh. You can go into an uh-huh. 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 So now you can already hear For many of us, the voice is a tiny bit lower than we expect it to be. Some of us are speaking in a little elevated voice that is due to the tensions that we carry. And if we let our shoulders go down, open our throat a little bit, we help our body get loosen a little bit tensions, and we go back to uh-huh, ah yeah, And go with me on that sigh. Sighing is a great way to release tensions. And I hope you're in an environment out there that where you can do that without people looking, what's she doing? It's really great to actually take part in that. You can tap a little bit on your chest bone. Yeah. You give it a little. Yeah. And from there, we help our jaw. So the jaw is, I will show you a little video first. Sorry, I'm jumping back and forth, but I want to show you something. Where is it? Okay, it's not there. Just show, that's it. Okay, now I can share. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so what I want to share is I want to show you how our vocal tract looks like. So you can see here my mouse is going around where the sound initially is. It starts right here, well, here maybe, with a larynx, and then it comes up here. This is the tongue. So you might want to realize how huge the tongue is actually. And this is the upper part of our palate. And the tongue will be moving now. And I can show you what happens. So you see the jaw moving right now as well. And you see the tongue is moving, and the tongue is moving to articulate. So there's articulation happening right now. And you see that this part in the back here gets bigger or smaller, depending on what the tongue does and depending on what the jaw does. Okay, do it one more time, because it's a fascinating thing, I think. Yeah, so the tongue is moving, and this area gets smaller or bigger. But it's in the back of the jaw that the real action is happening, not in the front of the mouth. So where the sound wants to get the resonance is here. Okay? So just so you know what we're looking at when we're looking at something. Now we're doing a little help for our jaws. So we take our hands and we embrace our cheeks, and you really embrace it. You don't kind of like do it like this, but you really embrace it. Just check in with your jaw for a moment. Feel it. And we are kind of doing something to trick our jaw into release. Because the jaw is the center of, you just keep your hands there, the jaw is the center of your will. It is the expression of willpower. So you know these security people who are going, like they are letting their jaw muscles move. And that's because they are willing to protect or willing to defend. All of us who are up to something and they need to put their willpower into it, we will close our teeth. We say sometimes in German, we have an expression, es ist die Zähne zusammenbeißen. So to really bite our teeth if we need to go through something. So this is a really important thing. Of course, this is kind of our human history. Makes sense that the jaw has this function. And now, if we want the jaw to open, to try it once, you just pull on your jaw and see what your jaw does. You pull with your hands down. What does your jaw do? It resists. It doesn't want to be pulled, right? Unless you just made a decision, you will let that happen. So it resists the action that you're taking. So this time around, we're going to push the jaw up. And now it resists again. You can feel the jaw is resisting. It doesn't want to be pushed up, right? Oh, my God, really doesn't want to. And now we use that resistance to let it sink and let your hands get heavy, and they just sink, the jaw sinks with the hand down. And it sinks so easily because it has just resisted your reversal direction. So let's do it again, now that I've talked and I shut up for a moment. Push up. Push, 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 push. And then you're unhinging. And you're opening your lips as well. Opening your lips, yes. And now, that moment where that is happening, feel the relief that floods your body. There's a relief that is not just in the jaw, it's in your whole body, and your whole emotional system is reacting to your jaw going down. So do it one more time, and when you release, you also let your belly go soft. So your belly will probably start to move when your jaw goes down. Go up, up, up. Oh, go down, let your belly go. And you might want to sigh again. Maybe there's a sigh happening automatically. And if that happens, of course, that is fantastic. Good. So the one thing that we take out of this exercise is that you cannot force your jaw to open. So if you want your jaw to be open, to have a lot of resonance, you cannot do it by will or force. You can only do it by cooperation, which is a great thing. So we think of our jaw as a friend, and we realize that from that video that I've shown you, that you want, when you're articulating, you want the back of your throat area, the back of your mouth area, you want that part to be a little bit more spaceful. Like you would be yawning a little bit. Yeah. And now something really fascinating starts, because now you're going to start using your tongue without your jaw. I say it again, you start using your tongue without your jaw. That is completely fascinating. So you unloosen your jaw, and then you say, ay. And it's going to be only your tongue who is going to do that. Your jaw stays put. Ay. Ha. Ay. Yeah. You just go along with me, I know. Voicing the whole time, but maybe it helps you. Maybe you notice now your jaw wants to go along, and you just kind of lovingly hold it in that relaxed position and allow your tongues to move. Yeah. There's a tip. Keep the tongue at the tip, at the front part of your teeth. So you just want to kind of, if these are the teeth, you want to have your tongue right next to it. Like that. Yeah. So go with me on that one. Yeah. Hey, yeah. Oh, yeah. So articulation doesn't need your jaw to be active the whole time. And that's really cool, because then the space here in the back is not constricted the whole time. It doesn't close all the time, but it can be a bit more relaxed, and the sound can develop so much more. In order for that then not to sound like, I'm in a little box, so all my sound is in the back, I activate my eyes, and I have very active tongue. So we practice that for a moment. We have these active eyes. Those of you who have a camera on can give me your shiny, shiny eyes. Otherwise, you just do it another way. You just do it anyway into your computer. Shiny eyes. And you say, ta, ta, ta. And with a ta, 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 you leave your jaw open. Ta, ta, ta. I do it zooming in. Ta, 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 ta. You see my tongue is moving, but my jaw only in the beginning was moving. Da, da, da. Na, na, na. La, la, la. And that might feel really, really, really strange, like something very, very new. And that's okay if that's so. As I said, it's more like a road to freedom than like pushing a button and then it's there. But it's something that I'm just giving you because you can actually do that in everyday life. And that's my tip. If I were you and you know you have that rather tight jaw, then use every time you go to the bathroom and you're releasing anyway, you just use it to let go of your jaw. You might want to take that trick to consciously allow your jaw to be floating. So I'm very aware I'm saying floating and not opening your jaw. Because opening your jaw often means using muscles, right? Like at the dentist. No, but we want to have it just floating. Because then all the muscles here are not getting into tension. If we do there's a lot of tension happening right where our voice wants to come out. Okay, so that was the part of the jaw and the tongue, and you can have a lot of fun actually when you're brushing your teeth. You can work on your jaw. When you're going to the bathroom, release your jaw. You can wash up doing la 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 la, and you keep your jaw open. Only have your tongue moving. It's great ways to just integrate that into your life. Okay, now breathing. Breathing is such a huge thing that I can only give you a little idea of how to approach that. Basically, it's don't breathe. So, or you should be breathing, but you should not be consciously breathing in the way that we tend to take a breath. We're talking of taking a breath, which implies that we are active in doing that. So we'd be doing, and then I would have breath, and then I could talk. Now the problem with that is if I take a breath, I normally use more breath. I have more breath coming in that I can use in this moment. And if I have too much breath, I will need to get rid of it very fast. And we're going to try that out in a very short contrasting exercise. So again, be upright so you can have your upper body moving. The first one is you breathe up here, you put your hand on your chest, and you breathe in and up in here. And then you hold your breath for a while and feel into the throat area, how it feels. Okay, we do that? And we let go, if you haven't already done so, because it feels really horrible, doesn't it? It feels like there's so much air pushing up. It pushes, it wants to go out. Okay, now the same exercise, you put your hand on your belly. I'll go back a little bit. I don't think it will work. Let's try like this. Okay, you put your hand on your belly, and now you allow your breath to come into your body, which is you open your throat and your mouth, and you allow your belly to move. So you are doing more an opening. You're inviting air in. And again, then you hold your breath, and you feel what happens in your throat area. if you couldn't come along with me because I was talking and explaining, we can just do it one more time together. So the important part is open here and here to let the air come in. Something like that. And allow your belly to move. Okay, we do that and then hold your breath, feel, and then let go. We do it together. And let go. And I'm sure you could have held the breath longer than I asked you to now. And if you compare those two versions of taking a breath or inviting a breath in, you know which one is the better one, right? That's pretty obvious. So, but most of us still take a breath. So they start to speak, and they take a breath, and they take another breath. And every time they speak, the air needs to pass out because there's too much air here. And then they need to take breath again. And the result of it all is that everybody out there who's listening to me now gets nervous because I seem to be a little bit out of breath. And I feel out of breath. I lose my grounding, I lose my body center because I'm so busy breathing the whole time. And this is happening to a lot of people who are speaking, also who are speaking on stages because there's excitement coming up, so the breathing starts to be only up here. And it's a cycle that is really, really unfortunate. It gets us into a very bad nervous system state. We get really condensed and everything gets tight. So that will impact the way your voice will come forth. Okay, so now you know that you should not be breathing. How do we do it then? Basically, it's pretty simple. And we all knew how to do it a long time ago. Babies know how to do it. And we know it when we're sleeping. We also do that. We are not consciously taking a breath when we're sleeping. So we are clear that we know how to do it. That's great. So we have nothing to fear. But we have lots to learn, and the learning is more or less, I would say, for women, a very female topic because we have to learn to let our bellies go to their full size. That's like one prerequisite. You just have to allow your belly to take the full size. So that means, I don't know if you can see me very well, but my belly in its expanded version is somewhere here, and now I speak. And the breath goes out, and the belly will go in, not as much as I'm showing you, but a little bit. And then when I start taking breath again, it's like, it will just fall out. My God, it will fall out. So the first dry version for you to be able to do that is push your belly in and out dry, without breath. Just go in, let fall, in, let fall, in, let fall. Oh, great. Now you know what a falling belly feels like. Now you can apply it to breathing. And we breathe out. And when we think we have breathed out already, we breathe out a little bit more. And then we do this magic opening that involves opening your jaw, opening your throat, and letting your belly fall. That's the thing. So it's quite complex, actually, then when you think about it. Just open everything here, and you allow your belly to move. Okay, you ready? We are breathing out together now. So we have a little bit of breath inside now, and we breathe out. A little bit more. And now? Breath is there. I hope for all of you that this worked. For some of us, this is so unusual that it feels really awkward. For those of us who like to know how it all is meant. Oh shit, what did I do? Damn, I did something now, which I didn't want to do. Get me back here. Here I am. I want to share my screen, and I want to show you what happens inside your bodies. Up the aktuellen Folie. Yes, there we go. So you see here the diaphragm. This is our pumping muscle. And you will see how it works on its own. So just so you have once seen it, because it's fascinating to realize the body doing all of that. So this is the breath out now. And this is the breath in. And because the diaphragm comes down, all the organs that are underneath the diaphragm here will have to move somewhere. So they move either to the belly or to the sides or towards the back. Okay? Out, in, and so on. Well, okay, great. Okay, what can you do for everyday life? Well, I would suppose you can just practice not taking a breath before you speak, but opening your face, opening your eyes, and just allowing breath to come in. That's the easiest way to just try it, start to integrate it into your everyday thing. And you know, you can, I always like to link it to situations like the first good morning that I'm saying to anyone, I will do with this kind of a in-breath. So just we kind of hook it onto something we do regularly, and then we make it a mental note, and that kind of does something into the whole system. That's my advice on that one. Okay, last thing is really almost the most important and most difficult one, which is our inner attitude. Do we actually dare to be so resonant? Do we dare to be there with our full voice? Do we dare to step out of our program which says we have to look nice, we have to sound nice, we have to not be dangerous to anyone, we should always save other people from our power, right? That's the real thing. And there are a few things that you can do in order to dare, and they have very much to do with, of course, mental work, emotional work. You know, that's something that you will do on your own anyway. But what I can do for you is I would like to show you one tool which I learned from Mira Michelle. It's called the grounding cord. It's an amazing tool to ground yourself and to really feel connected to the earth. And if you do that, then you get out of your mind system, your fear system, because you're connecting your body with Mother Earth. So if you're doing that, you're safe, basically. And I invite you to do that now. So some of us know this already. So I have some wonderful medicine woman on this call. Yay! So those who have never heard of this, you just go along. You imagine that energy cord, which is right at the end of your spine. It's rolled in. You can imagine it glittering with shiny light, or, you know, make your own idea of what an energy cord looks like. And this energy cord we're going to drop. And the cool thing is, dropping is really easy. It's as if you have a little pen in your hand, and when you want to drop it, you just open your hands and you let it drop to the earth. So I invite you to do that now. If you are seated, you can do it sitting, but you can also do it standing. Both ways work. And you want to go to your spine, the end of your spine. You want to imagine that cord. Feel it. See it. Love it. And now you just allow it to find its own way into the mother, into earth. You just open and let go. And it will find its own way. You don't have to control if it's going right. It will find its way. Just allow it to happen. You allow it to happen. At some point you will feel, now I'm there. I'm connected. I'm much more feeling the ground and myself and the relation between the two, with that thing having dropped. So I invite you to do that as much as you can. It's for any situation, but also to just really always remember your center, your power, your right to walk this planet. And it's really, Mira always says, you know, she could write books on what people feedback on just doing that one exercise. So I thank you, Mira, for sharing that with us all. And so that's one of the things that you might want to do if you feel you are in need of more centering, so you are able to have that resonant voice in the world. The other thing is, I'm gonna show you, you know, you noticed by now that I like to work with contrast. and I want you to prepare for a moment to give a talk on mute, so not on this, but you're going to talk now, and you're going to talk in 2 roles, which I'm going to propose for you. You're going to say who you are, where you live, and what made you come onto this call, what drew you to come to this call, okay? And I'm going to show you the role in just a moment, and I invite you to really feel into it. You will see the image, you will know what I mean, it might be funny, and you just feel yourself into that persona and speak as her, okay? Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Oh, it's not there. What happens? Oh, yeah, it is there. Good. Okay. But we need the next. This is not the image, in case you were wondering. No, it's also, that's it. Here we go. So I give you 2 minutes to feel in and give your talk. Okay. Don't know if you need more time for this now. A little bit unsure. It was a short no. No, there's a no coming. That's cool. Thank you so much, Jule, for feedbacking that. Okay, so here comes the next persona. And I want you to say the same or more or less the same. You can expand if you want, because it's going to be very cool and joyful with the next persona that is coming on, and you feel yourself into her. You are her, and you speak from that position. Enjoy. Whenever I'm ready. There you go. You might have finished, you might not have. If you could give me a thumbs up if you want a reaction. Yes, that's a yes. I suppose you have had the experience, so I say goodbye, Nofretete. Thank you so much for being with us. That was great. I love her. She is so amazing. She, for me, really provides access to an attitude that we can all use and need, and we want to have back on the planet. So we're coming to a close of this workshop. We have done a lot, actually. I've explained a little bit about all the functioning of it and why, and I have shown you how you can work your jaw and your tongue, and how that basic sound is where your pitch is, that this is where my pitch is actually. Okay, and how this active articulation will bring the voice forward, how more space will help you have a more resonant voice. And in order for all of that to happen, you need that attitude and that, that grounding, so you can actually stand your woman. So there is time, 3 minutes we've got. If you have questions, anything or any sharing that you want to give, any feedback, something that you want to bring into this space, it's been very monologuous from me, so be invited to share if you want. I'm seeing Jule learned a lot, and Annabelle already fed back. Great. I hope you can all see the chat, because this is where the feedback comes in now. Great. Okay, if there are no more questions, mahalo. Then I send out my blessings to you all. And I wish you that you are really daring and happy to project your voice into that world. Be heard, speak your truth, and just be guided by light and love. Thank you.